everybody, today I will be giving a tutorial on how to utilize the AC-130 mod in Arma 3, whether it's for single player use to have one covering you in the sky controlled by AI, or whether you want to be in the sky in an AC-130 as the gunner while the AI controls the plane. I'll be showing you some mission ideas that you can make for your own missions and how to implement those with very, very minimal scripting. So let's get started. So I'm going to use the town of Arma in the base game, and let's have some friendly units who are stuck in this village. So I'm going to keep it very minimal because you're going to be in the sky anyway, and I'm going to use my RHS mods, and we will stick with some BTRs for now. So I have 3 BTRs placed. Now I would say that it's time to place the AC-130. AC-130 will obviously be in Blue 4, USAF, AFSOC, and then there it is, the AC-130 Spooky. Make sure you know which way your guns are facing to. You don't want your guns facing the wrong way where the targets are. And then find a good plan of attack where you can circle around the enemy area here. We are also going to click on the AC-130 and let's set the speed to 235. A really important step you want to do here is set the behavior to be careless. That way the pilot doesn't get any crazy ideas. And then I'm also going to highlight all the crew members and make them invincible to damage along with the plane. That way we don't get shot down. Let's make the IR operator the player. You'll also want to make sure that your pilot's courage is 100% and fleeing is 0. That way they don't try to drift off. The first method you could do after placing the AC-130 is just simply dropping a waypoint, and we're going to make that a loiter waypoint, and make sure you got that going the correct way there. Then let's set the altitude to 500, radius is at 900, and then let's give it a quick demo here.
3, 2, 1.
So I'll watch the outside of the plane and see where it goes. Give the pilot a moment to stabilize. And then now we're in a pretty steady loiter here. You can go to the gunner seat. Wings are still a little high.
1.5 clicks, 6 o'clock. Target the APC. 1 click, 5 o'clock. Target the APC. Target the APC.
Pilot still flies a little funny here, but this pilot will keep the same waypoint.
APC, 1 click, southeast. He's down.
It works for the most part, but the plane keeps swiveling enough where it gets the cannon off target, because the wing goes down and the cannon can't go up with it. Then every now and then you have to wait for it to stabilize, and then you can keep shooting.
Scratch 1.
So that's the waypoint method, which in theory can work, but the problem you run into is if you want to make multiple objectives. Because then you have the issue where if you try to skip this waypoint and set another one, something with the AI just bugs out and doesn't know what to do. So let's make a quick script here. We'll name these BTRs just simple names, B11, B12, and B13. And we'll grab a trigger and place it here. we will make it a skip waypoint type trigger. We'll right click it, set waypoint activation, and then this trigger, the condition will have to be that all 3 BTRs are destroyed. B11 and I'm going to copy and paste this. So with this script, B11 needs to be destroyed, B12 needs to be destroyed, and B13 needs to be destroyed for that trigger to activate. So in theory, it should do the same loop here, and then once these 3 targets are destroyed, it's going to go, let's stick them over here, and we'll put another loiter waypoint down, make that counterclockwise with a radius of 900, at an altitude of 500, and you will see why this method will not work. So we're flying up to our first loiter point. And the pilot just decides to get a mind of his own. So as you can see, the pilot doesn't give me a very good location for me to engage at all. It just kind of flies in a goofy pattern, and there's nothing I can do about it. So, that's where we go into method number 2. Now method 2, I will admit, is a little more tedious, but it's almost fluent. This is the method that I have found that works the best for having an AI AC-130 provide cover, whether it's to provide cover to you on the ground, or whether you want to be the gunner and have your own mission based out of that AC-130. So this method here will involve waypoints. So we go over here and click on our Alpha 11 AC-130. We'll place our first waypoint. The first waypoint will have a radius of 900. This is a waypoint that will be getting deleted, but is a good reference. And there you will see your radius of where your AC-130 will be flying. Now, here's where it's going to get a little complicated and a little crazy. I'm going to place multiple move waypoints here. Doesn't have to be perfect at first, but we'll start off with a rough idea. We're going to highlight all of these move waypoints, set to 174. And then the plan here is to move them right along the radius where they will just barely touch each other. We want them as close to that line as possible because this is going to be every waypoint that the plane will hit. I will admit that this is a very tedious process, but the payoff in the end is very worth it. Alright, so by the time you get done mapping out all your waypoints, it should look pretty similar to this. Doesn't have to be exactly perfect, but the closer you get, the better. But then what we're going to do is highlight them all and then set their radius to 200. But I almost forgot, gotta place a cycle waypoint, and that way the loops keep repeating. So placing a cycle waypoint, that puts this in the middle of these two here. Put that a little closer there. And then now the plane will continuously do the loop unless activated by a trigger. And then you could also delete this, that way our first waypoint will be down here rather than out there. And we could even move this guy over here, have him face straight. Let's see this loop in action here. So the pilots give me orders to engage while the pilot stays on track. Just flying to the first waypoint. With that lower speed, with the radius of all the waypoints, they'll now hit the zones and do a steady bank. May alternate a little bit with the terrain. Wings may dip up and down a little bit, but that's way smoother than the loiter radius was. Adjusting a little bit with the altitude, adjusting a little bit with the terrain, not super drastic, and not over the top. Then we go into the cabin and figure out where our cannon is exactly. There's one guy right there. Wings are too high. Wings just dip down a little low. And then back on the center spot. Now I'm using the T key to lock onto my target here with my crosshairs to adapt the guns to the right distance, otherwise they'll shoot off. Then you have your dials here. This is your left and right dials. Right now I'm in the sweet zone. This is your up and down dials. And right now I'm still in the sweet zone of that. But once these arrows go too far up or down like they are right now, I'm not going to be able to aim in that area. And just like that, all 3 targets are down. But now, I'm stuck in a loop. Let's say I want to make another area. Let's say I want to go over there and clear out some targets that might be hanging out over there. Once that's all complete, we'll set up a trigger here. We'll make it a skip waypoint type of trigger. We will set the waypoint activation on the cycle there. So with this trigger, like last time, we have our named BTRs, and we enter our script to activate the trigger. And of course, I will have this script in the description below, along with any other script that I use in this video. So when those 3 are destroyed, it'll skip this. Let's say we want to make a second area. Let's say we want the AC-130 to go over here right after and circle this military base. Let's get a look at this. Let's say we want to circle this area now and engage some armored targets that we place around this mountainside, something like that. We'll make the radius 900. I'll grab a couple more BTRs. Okay, got our 3 BTRs placed and named. We got a radius around it. Now we need to do the, once again, fun and tedious task of placing the waypoints. Now this is the method that's worked for me. Maybe you can find a different method that works for you. And then once again we're back to trying to spread the radiuses here where they just barely touch. Probably get rid of that one. And then there we go with our complete circle. That might even be better than the first one. But then we finish it off with a cycle waypoint, which will automatically connect to the next one. And then now we have our second full complete circle. We can get rid of this one. And one crucial step I forgot to add that I've been doing adding this, find the right one, is adding a waypoint before we get to the loop. That way, wherever your plane completes its waypoint, it can circle back, hit that waypoint, and then go to the area. There have been times where the plane completed, looped around to go to the next area, and then it hit that first waypoint, but then it just started zigzagging and figure eighting its way all along that area. And if you're in an AC-130 gunship, that's not very useful for engagement purposes. You should have a completion radius on that too. Let's make it 400, give or take. We'll start with 400 and see what happens. I almost forgot to expand the radius on all of these. Let's do a completion radius of 200 for the individual waypoints like the other circle. And then now we got some wiggle room for the plane to move around and get comfortable before it circles. So now I have it set up where the plane will do the first loop until these 3 BTRs are destroyed. Once they're destroyed, it activates the trigger, which skips the cycle, which then continues on to the next waypoint. And hopefully by then, wherever it's at over here and hits this area, it'll be able to straighten out enough to hit this point, and then continuously circle left to keep hitting those waypoints as we destroy the 2 other targets. So let's give that a whirl. Wait for the plane to start banking, and now we should be pretty clear for the most part. Wings a little far down, and now we're golden.
800 meters. Target the APC. 700 meters. Target the APC. 1.5 clicks. 9 o'clock.
Good.
Track 1. 1 click. Northwest.
Get ready.
100 meters. Northwest. Target down. Target the APC. 5 o'clock. 600 meters. West. Half a click. West. 800 meters. Southwest.
Good.
700 meters. Southwest.
Just like that, the 3rd APC is destroyed.
0.
Get ready.
Target down.
Now the pilot's moving to the next waypoint outside of that loop. Now we're going to enter our next zone of waypoints and start our gradual turn. A little bit of a sharp bank there, but this is another reason to have the radius at 200 so the pilots can correct to where they should be at.
700 meters.
And just like that, I have a beautiful
9 o'clock.
window here.
600 meters.
A little close to the wing,
Target the APC.
but I'm still able to engage for the most part without losing my area of attack. Now it's getting a little low, but it doesn't stay out for long.
1 click. West. Target the APC.
Get ready.
Half click. Southwest. 800 meters. Southwest. I've got it. Cancel target.
Just like that, all 3 targets are destroyed. So this whole time I've been showing you how to do this as a gunner. But what about if you wanted an AI to control the gunner seat? There's really not much more you have to do. The one thing I would do as a recommendation is up the accuracy. And I'm going to go with 90 because trust me, at that distance it's probably going to need it. We could also up the aiming speed for the sake of them being a lot more efficient with their time, because the AI will not shoot as accurately as you will. Then you're also going to want to take the attributes of both the pilot and the IR gunner and have their spot distance basically maxed out. That way they see everything around them and know what to target. We'll just pick a random guy to play as, and then we will enter camera mode. Oh, he's already getting started before I can even get into position. that guy. And that's basically the gist of it. Now you're probably going to address the elephant in the room asking, why is it not nighttime? Well, let's fix that. Let's make this more of a nighttime operation that an actual AC-130 would operate as. We will go to our environment. I want to find a full moon night just for the sake of being able to see at night from the ground level. And let's make it 11 o'clock at night, 2300 hours. Beautiful full moon. You can still see everything at night. Let's not stop there because I have one more script that can really help with the night immersion and be more realistic. And we'll go to my actual AC-130 mission, which is playable right now, by the way. I can link that. And is also the premises of where I decided to make this tutorial video. And I will copy a script that I already have set up there. And that will be for the AC-130 itself. I'm going to copy and paste all of this in a minute. And then you're going to select the AC-130 itself. We're going to name it a variable. In this case, I'm just going to name it Spooky. And when I paste this script, this whole script area here disables the lights. All the lights on it, otherwise it'll be blinking at night and it'll stick out like a sore thumb. That's not how the military operates at nighttime. So this stretch here will disable the lights. This is an important one I forgot earlier. I don't think it was too detrimental with the video, but this will definitely help out with keeping a higher altitude than where we were at. And that is setting the flyInHeight at 500 meters. And then this is another one here, if you're going to have a longer mission and you just want to go gung-ho crazy with the ammo, or especially if it's controlled by AI, this will give the vehicle, or a person for that matter, unlimited ammo. Now this looks more like a real operation. Your headlights are on, which makes it pretty obvious, but it's also really bright out tonight because of the full moon. But as you can see with the thermals, it's almost impossible to see them. So what do you do if it's darker out? So with your BTRs here, you can select them all and right click them, go to attributes, and you will go down to engine on/off. You check that, and it'll ensure the engines are on and you'll see them in thermal. Make them a lot easier at night to spot when you're playing as the gunner. AI, I believe it will not matter to them because they're AI. And now because of that little trick, you can sort of see them popping out more, especially as you get closer. And it helps when your pilot is designating them too, that's very useful. Now let's find a night that's not so bright out. Now it's a realistic operation. Plane's on blackout mode. Can't see us up in the sky. Our headlights are still on though. Barely see anything. Night vision doesn't do a whole lot more, but helps a little bit. But then in thermal mode, they stick out almost like a sore thumb.
700 meters east. 1 click northeast. 400 meters north. Hostile down. 800 meters north. Target the APC. 600 meters north. 1 click. Target neutralized.
There's 2 targets down already. There's white thermal and black thermal.
800 meters northwest. 700 meters west. 600 meters west. Cancel target.
Just like that, all 3 targets are destroyed.
006.
Well, I hope this tutorial was useful to you, and I hope you'll be able to implement it in your own missions and scenarios. Let me guys know if you liked the videos, let me know it can be improved, and let me know if you want to see more of them. Make sure to like the video, leave a comment about what you did or didn't like about it if you want to see more, and subscribe if you liked it enough. Maybe I'll make more of these in the future. Earlier in the video I mentioned that I do have an actual AC-130 mission uploaded on the Steam Workshop, which is here. However, I have countless other missions uploaded to the Steam Workshop as well that follows a story leading up to this mission, and probably more to come in the future. So if you're interested in those, make sure to check my Steam Workshop page out and give these missions a run. There's a single player version and a co-op version with 2 to 6 players of each mission uploaded to play with your friends. So check them out. Let me know what you think. My username is Mercenary995.